What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Ah! Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's gone mad!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my bullstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans and asked me this house.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fucks? I'm John, not Jay. Don't worry, Jay is Fright Flick FMK. Jay is this channel, and honestly, it felt a little weird even saying his catchphrase. Probably not going to do that again. It just didn't sound right coming out of me. But as you can see behind me in this video and any of the other videos I've done on this channel with Jay where we've reviewed movies, I have a really large movie collection. Using an app that I have to use to track my collection to make sure I don't end up double buying something I already own, I have 896 unique movies and TV shows in my collection. Definitely a little over 900 if you count some of the bootlegs I have and some of the more underground things that maybe don't have a barcode or it's just not in their system. It's just too obscure. And I get people asking me like, oh, what's the rarest thing in your collection? What do you like? Which one's your favorite thing in your collection? And this and that. And I was like, well, hey, let's do a video series and we'll put it up on Fright Flick for all the horror movie loving fucks out there who may be interested. They can check out some parts of my collection that I'm going to show off. And hopefully it'll be a series and we'll keep it going. So make sure to like and comment below if you want to keep seeing more of this. This isn't going to be so much of a review, although I'm sure I'll probably say, you know, my opinion on these movies. I've got movies in my collection that I don't like, solely because maybe when they came out in theaters, I didn't get to catch them. And I was like, I would have spent this much money going to a movie theater and buying a ticket as if I'd have just bought the Blu-ray, so let me get that, and if it sucks, okay, at least it's in the collection. Maybe I'll rewatch it later, and I'll like it or something like that. So a little small review, but mostly showing off the physical copy that I own, breaking that down a little bit and things like that. So if you like to watch collection videos, I think you'll enjoy. If you're a fan of horror, you should definitely enjoy. And again, if you want to see more of these, make sure to sub if you haven't. Definitely leave a thumbs up and drop a comment down there. Give us your opinion on this video or if you want some more or anything like that. I think that's it. So without further ado, let's fucking go. So now the first one I want to talk about is, it's actually a horror documentary. Love documentaries, personally, love horror movies, so combine those together and I'm in there like swimwear every time. And this one is a documentary about a movie that's always in my top 5 horror movies of all time. Depending on the day of the week, it may be a top 3, and that is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Now again, I'm not talking about The Shining. Everybody knows about this. This is probably one of the first or second times they put this out on Blu-ray. This is just, it's generic. They've had better editions. I generally don't buy multiple editions of the same movie if I already have it in my collection, although I have been tempted a few times. But we're not talking about The Shining today. We're talking about Room 237. Now, if you know anything about The Shining, Room 237 is it's kind of like the catalyst room in that movie. Dick Halloran warns Danny to stay out of there. That's the room where Jack goes in and the lady's naked in the tub and they start making out. And while he's making out with her, she turns into this old hag and she's got all these like all their skin's coming off from being in the water, dead, and all that good stuff. It's a great scene. If you've watched The Shining before, and I'm sure most of you have, The Shining came out in 1980. It's very loosely based off of the 1977 book by Stephen King of the same name. King and Kubrick notoriously did not get along after this. King hated how much Kubrick took liberties with everything. I don't care. Kubrick's the GOAT. I'm not even the biggest Stephen King fan personally. And I've never bothered to read The Shining because I saw the movie first, and knowing that it's so different, I just love the movie so much. I don't even care to read the novel, but just some history on The Shining. If you've seen The Shining, I mean, it's considered a horror classic, but it was very divisive when it came out, and it's still divisive to some people to this day. Is it a horror? Is it not? And generally what everyone asks is, what the fuck is the movie about? Particularly, the last 5 or 10 minutes, man, it just goes all over the place. And that closing scene of Jack in the picture frame, you know the one I'm talking about, it just ends the movie on a what the fuck was that kind of thing. Room 237 is a documentary about a bunch of theories for what Kubrick was trying to convey with The Shining. Now, if you know a little bit about it, obviously Kubrick did not clarify. He never cared to clarify. I mean, a lot of his movies, you could be like, what the fuck was he honestly trying to say there? I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't have a fucking clue what that movie's about, but I'll watch it right after making this video. I love it. But Room 237, it brings on experts in these different theories about what Kubrick was trying to convey with The Shining, and that's what the documentary is about. Now, one of the most popular ones is that The Shining was Kubrick trying to kind of slyly confess to the fact that he did in fact direct and film the fake moon landing footage from 1969. That's one of the more popular ones in there, but there's a few other ones in here. And even if you don't care for what people think and you think it's a stretch, the people that are talking on this, man, they show a lot of the charts and stuff from the movie that backs up what they say. So even if you're like, you're completely reaching, that's definitely not what this is about. It's still really interesting to check it out. Cannot recommend this one enough. I love this movie. It came out in 2012. I think I got my copy around like 2014, 2015. It wasn't as easy to find then. Now I see it on a ton of like online stores. You can get it on Amazon right now for like $15-16 with free shipping, and I encourage you to do so. I didn't have to like overpay for it when I got it, but I think there was like one site where I found this this was actually like for sale when I got it. You can stream it on Pluto TV and Plex as of this recording, and you have nothing to lose. If you're a fan of The Shining, you got to see this. If you're a fan of horror documentaries or just documentaries, you got to watch this. If you don't like The Shining, particularly for the reason I mentioned earlier, the confusing nature of it all, then you definitely want to see this. It'll give you some perspective. So let's talk a little bit about the physical copy that I have. I have not seen other physical copy like versions of this, just this one. I love the way it looks. The bright yellow, and it's on the spine, so it always stands out in my collection, so I love that about it. I fucking hate the fact that this is cardboard. I cannot stand cardboard slipcases. I think they call them eco packs or something like that. They just damage too easy. It's not going to hold up over time. Glue's going to start popping on this shit, so I don't handle this movie a lot. I've even streamed it off of, maybe it was Pluto or Plex or who knows at the time, versus grabbing my Blu-ray just so I don't have to manhandle this one as much. But there you can see the slip cover. It's got the special features listed on the back. Nothing special there. This is just some excerpts from that people are talking about in the movie. You can see that's where one of my kids probably messed with this, and it got a little scratch. Again, why I don't like cardboard. And then it's got this famous, I love this scene, everyone. This is a famous scene where the tennis ball rolls down the hallway and Danny blocks it, looks down the hallway, and he's wearing his Apollo 11 sweater, which further feeds into the moon landing theory, cover-up theory and stuff like that. On the inside, there's nothing special. There's no booklet or anything like that, but it does have this drawing. me see. I'm sorry if the camera's doing a little bit, some focusing and stuff. There's this drawing. You'll see this canister in the pantry in the movie. It's for Calumet baking soda, I believe. And this is one of the things for the people who theorize that it was about the genocide of Native American Indians. They use a little bit of this in their theorizing, but I thought that was a cool picture. And then, of course, you just have the disc right there. Again, this is definitely nothing fancy. I really, and maybe I need to look and see if you guys know there's a different, like a variant of this that's in more of like a hard case like this. I would love to know, because I usually don't double buy different versions, but this one I would, just because I know over time this is going to start looking. I'm surprised it looks this good now, considering I've had it for probably somewhere between the vicinity of 8 and 10 years. But again, I don't mess with it much solely for that reason. Room 237, I love having it in my collection. Again, if you love The Shining, watch it. If you hate The Shining, watch it. If you love documentaries, watch it. If you love horror movies, watch it. I think you should own it, but you can check it out right now for free on Pluto and Plex, and you absolutely should do so. So for our second, it's not that it is technically the second movie, but there's actually 3 movies in this collection. And this is, all of them are from South Korea. And we're talking about the Vengeance trilogy right here. There we go. So this has Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, the movie that everybody's heard of out of this trilogy, which is Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance. Now, this is the Vengeance trilogy. These are all directed by Park Chan-wook. All South Korean movies. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance came out in 2002. Old Boy was in 2003. And then Lady Vengeance came out in 2005. So a little bit about the movies. I feel like, especially if you've kind of messed with disturbing cinema, Old Boy is always up there. Old Boy is just a fantastic movie. It had a remake. I think Spike Lee did it. Josh Brolin was in it. It was like almost a shot-for-shot remake, completely unnecessary. Again, if you're into horror movies, you've got to get into reading subtitles. There's just way too many great horror movies that have came from non-English speaking countries that you are just missing out on. If you got to train yourself, you got to be okay. I promise you, the first few times it is weird, but once you get used to it, it's like second nature. Hell, there's sometimes I'll put subtitles on English movies, particularly if like the kids are trying to sleep. I need to keep the volume low so I can kind of, read along. Or there's some, especially like from the UK, like British or Scotland or Scottish or something like that, where, man, they don't seem like they speak the same type of English I do. And so I even need subtitles there. But all 3 of these flicks are absolute just bangers. I mean, I feel bad for Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance because everybody just talks about Old Boy. And I would say I remember Old Boy the best. I won't say Old Boy is the best out of the 3. That's a tough call. But you're going to remember Old Boy. If you watch all 3 of these, if you're able to do it like back to back, you will never forget Old Boy. If you haven't checked that out, you absolutely should. Now, I didn't look up where all these are streaming. Again, you can check that out. All 3 of these are fairly well known. Old Boy in particular. But these are all pretty well known movies, and you can probably find them out there. This is this version right here, this box set you'll see right there for anybody who's in like North America and stuff, the 18. This is a region 2. This is for like the UK area, I think maybe even Australia. I just a lot of European countries. That's what this is for. I got this from Arrow Video. Love Arrow Video. The physical copies they put out are just second to none. But you can still get this. This is on Amazon. I think it's like $50 for 3 flicks. And I mean, this is, I was bitching with Room 237 about the cardboard. Completely different thickness, like quality of cardboard on this. The best thing, and this is what I love when they do these box sets. I'm always worried about buying box sets because they try to get fancy with like these fold outs and these pull outs. And again, over time, that shit's going to break. Not this Mammer Jammer. Look at this right here. Dump them out. All three in regular full-size Blu-ray cases. It's got the clear cases. Arrow uses these a lot. I love these. Look at that art. Look at the artwork on these things, man. Just absolutely beautifully done. Arrow you're just never gonna get. I mean, Arrow is just the bosses when it comes to this stuff. But you can get this again, man. Like $50 on Amazon for 3 flicks. The amount of time that Old Boy is going to haunt your mind is worth $50 alone just for that. Let alone Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance, which are just as good of movies, man. Like Park Chan-wook, fucking dynamite, and all 3 of these are fantastic. You should check them out. I love this collection. Old Boy does get some preferential treatment here. It's a 4-disc set. You saw only 3 cases. Old Boy actually has an extra disc on there where it's got the old days. It's a documentary about, you know, all about Old Boy, and then it's got something called Autobiography of Old Boy. It's a 3.5 hour like video diary of this. I haven't watched that yet. Old Days and Old Boy Story, fucking great. I would have been great if this would have been like a 4 case and they'd have done another case just for that documentary. But I mean, Lady Vengeance and Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, they've got extra features on there too. There's a lot of different, I've seen it probably 2 or 3, including this one, versions of the trilogy. Of course, you can find the films sold separately. There's plenty of different ways of buying all 3 of these movies physically. Again, I love Arrow. Arrow does such a great job. I believe they are based out of the UK, because I think everything, I've got some other Arrow stuff up here. They're all region 2 or B or whatever for like the UK, Australia, stuff like that. They're all that way. But again, you can get a completely unlocked Blu-ray player for like less than $100 on eBay, and it's worth it for the amount of money you will save being able to get some of these variants from other places and things like that. But man, the Vengeance trilogy, cannot talk about it. Now, if you guys watch Fright Flick FMK a good bit, you know that we do some trilogy videos where we actually do. Usually we will rate a movie a fuck, marry, or kill, and we do just one movie. But we've gotten into doing trilogies where we actually pick a movie that's a fuck or a kill or a marry, things like that. This is one that will be coming up. I don't know when, but Jay and I have already discussed it. We are definitely doing this trilogy. So if anybody's like, man, you guys should review those, hold on. They are coming. But this one is just, there's nothing too fancy there. Of course, I love how big and blocky it stands out. Most of the stuff that I have that's this thickness, it's TV shows and stuff like that. So a nice collection of movies. And again, they didn't go with thinner Blu-ray boxes. They didn't do a bunch of like cardboard inserts and stuff like that. Man, this for $50 that you can, and I'm pretty sure I paid more when I got mine when it was newer out there. But I just checked. It's on Amazon right now. $50 for exactly what I'm holding in my hand. This quality is top notch. This is the kind of cardboard that's going to hold up. And then on top of it, like if I wanted to, I could take this slip cover, I could put it somewhere, and then I've got 3 full freestanding Blu-rays that are going to go on my shelf. So I love this box set. It's gorgeous, and it's for 3 fantastic movies that everybody, if you're a horror fan, all 3 are required viewing. And I have a feeling a lot of y'all already know about Old Boy, but don't skip on Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance. They are fantastic. Again, I'm not going to say Old Boy's the better of them. It is definitely the one you're going to remember the most out of all 3 of them, and that's for a very fucked up reason that I'm not going to get into here, and hopefully you won't spoil it for yourself. You'll watch it when me and Jay review it. But the Vengeance trilogy, it's in my collection. It should definitely be in yours, and I love this version that I have. So now for this next one, as you may can tell, if you guys can see that, ignore my fat underarm there, I have blackout tattoos. And on this arm, it's negative space crop circles. I fucking love aliens. I love UFOs. I have since a kid. Jay can back that up from back in a time where he wasn't as weird as I was. But he could definitely tell you, like, just massive fan of UFOs, aliens, stuff like that. And what I always find is that, and I know there's a lot that probably people can point to, I just don't think there's enough horror movies about alien abduction. If you're into alien abduction, I mean, even if you're not, like, if that shit happens, that's fucking terrifying. I still think A Fire in the Sky may be one of the most terrifying movies because of that one scene where it's on the ship. So I love UFO horror movies, particularly this one that we're about to talk about right now, I just love every time I walk by my case and I see that I have this and I'm reminded, I just love it even more. That is the McPherson tape. Now, this came out in 1989. When it came out, I believe it was known, I know for a fact it was known as UFO abduction. Just generic as shit. And I don't know when they started going to the McPherson tape, or maybe it was the McPherson tape and that wasn't getting any traction. And so distributors and stuff like that thought, well, hey, maybe if we list it as UFO abduction, more people will watch it. No idea. When I first saw it, it was called the McPherson tape. That's what I refer to it as. But it actually, if you look here on the underside of the disc, it does have a reversible cover, if y'all can see that, where it says UFO abduction. So it's got the reversible for that, if you are familiar with this movie, but you knew it more by UFO abduction. So again, 1989 is when this thing came out. Written, produced, and directed by Dean Liotta. I don't know if he's done anything else or anybody else that was involved in this. But this is a found footage movie. If you know a little bit about me, I adore found footage. When it's done right, it is so effective in horror. And believe me, most of it's not done right. The McPherson tape is done fantastic because, again, it came out in 1989. I can't remember. I know a lot of people generally attribute found footage to Blair Witch Project. That's when the mainstream really knew about it. But most people will go further back to The Last Broadcast. That movie as like the first found footage horror movie, and that was about people trying to find the Jersey Devil. I've seen it once or twice. I don't own it. I do want to though. And I can't remember if that came out before. I had heard of The Last Broadcast before I had heard of this, but 1989 was when this was made. And there is something about how clearly. So a lot of the problems I have with found footage is they'll bounce around or they'll show something in found footage style and it either A, makes no sense why a camera is there, or they don't even try to explain why someone has a camera or anything. It just doesn't make sense that that particular scene was caught on film, or certainly earlier in the movie and stuff like that. So I really dislike that. It takes me out of it when I go, why is a camera there? Or there's not a good enough premise for why someone has a camera at the start of the movie and is documenting this stuff. You can do great found footage movies, but you have to remember, you have to give yourself some restrictions and you have to work within those. The McPherson tape was I would assume shot on VHS. It looks like it. It looks like one of those big old things back in the day where you had the shoulder rest, you put a full-blooded VHS cassette tape in there and you did it. And it works so well because of that. You just can't synthesize that look. I know we get close to it, but I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they overuse those effects to try to make stuff look vintage. And you could just tell the real deal, man. And the McPherson tape is the real deal. It's just got a family. They're in a house. They're kind of out in the woods. And these aliens come. And I don't want to spoil anything else because I feel like out of everything, certainly that I've talked about so far, this is going to be the one where most people are like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard of that. I don't know, man. Like, I could just sit here and talk all day. Because I love UFOs and aliens. And I didn't see this. I for sure have not. It's been within the past decade that I first heard about this or saw this. Man, if I'd have had access to this when I was a kid, I would have freaked myself out so much watching this nightly, like in my room, because like I said, I was just terrified of UFO and alien abductions and stuff like that. And man, this movie's just so good. It's got some special features on here. Again, there's just not much to be had. I'm just really happy this isn't. So you watch this, you'll be like, man, this could have easily became like lost media, and I'm really glad it's not. And I love owning it. This physical version. I haven't seen another physical version. Now, I'm talking about Blu-ray. There may have been some old VHS back in the day of it and things like that. But in modern times, and in Blu-ray, again, that's the format I hunt for the most. This is the only version I've seen. And it was done by American Genre Film Archive and Bleeding Skull. I do believe this is the only movie that they have physically produced and distributed that I have by them. But man, this thing just oozes. It just feels right. It looks right for the time that it was made. Even just the art. I love this thing, man. It's not the, like I said, there's a little bit of special features on here. I love the movie. I think that the stuff that it can't show you because it didn't have the budget to show you, or it wouldn't have made sense for there to be a camera there, works so well with this. What it doesn't show you, it makes it better. And I think that's where some found footage movies get out, where sometimes it's okay if there wasn't a camera that caught that. You can have your characters reacting to the fact that they didn't catch that on camera and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. Like I could just ramble on and on and on. This is another one. Again, it's, it don't even stand out. It doesn't. Apart from the clear, I love the clear Blu-ray cases and stuff like that, but it doesn't stand out like even on the shelf, man. But this is just one. I every time I look at it, it brings me joy that it's in my collection, to be like, you know what, I have it. I will always have it, because I remember after seeing it for the first time, and I can't remember how or where I saw it, I couldn't find another place to watch it again. And so now, like, you can own it. You can own this on Amazon for like $20. I pulled it up. It's streaming on Tubi, which, this channel, we love Tubi. Tubi, when it comes to the free services, Tubi is the GOAT. It's also on Plex and Pluto TV. So plenty of ways to watch this for free, and I definitely think you should. But again, I'm definitely biased towards this because it's right in my wheelhouse. I love found footage. Blair Witch Project, I watched that at the right age, where I completely bought into it. I thought it was all real. I went to the movie theater thinking that fucking thing was real. It scares and terrified me. Blair Witch is always going to be a top 5 or top 3 for me, solely because I was at the right place, the right time when that came out. And when I watched it in the theaters for the first time, I was hook, line, and sinker. Really thought that thing was fucking real. And so that launched me, and that was one of the earliest horror movies I remember actually seeing, because I was brought up pretty religious. And so that launched my love of found footage too. And I mean, there's a few found footage out there that do really well, but I'm telling you, I almost dropped that. For 1989, clearly working on a shoestring budget, you just can't find, in my opinion, better found footage than the McPherson tapes. I think you should own it. I love the fact that I own it. And if not, you should. If you don't want to own it, definitely on Tubi, Plex, or Pluto TV. You have to see this movie. And once you do, comment below and let me know if I'm full of shit or if this movie is the shit. I think it's the shit. So the last one I want to talk about on this video, again, I didn't want to keep y'all too long or anything like that. If you want more, make sure to put it in the comments below and leave that thumbs up. But this last movie, you could maybe call it a mockumentary, a pseudo documentary. But there is real documentary parts in it. So it's really unique in terms of a lot of the stuff that I've seen before. And also, this would be the movie that would really help to kind of propel me into like underground and extreme cinema. I had seen a few movies that qualify as that before, so I was getting intrigued, and then found this movie, Sandman. See it spelled S and M Man. So the play on sadomasochism and Sandman. So this movie, it's written and directed by J.T. Petty. He did The Burrowers, and then what was it? Hellbenders. Not much you would know of. I haven't seen those, so I can't say anything about him. This is what I know him for. And I won't really spoil the plot of what's going on, what's an actual movie. But he is kind of like a documentary filmmaker in it, and he is doing a documentary on underground horror. So when I watched this the first time, that's how I first learned of Fred Vogel from Toe Tag Pictures, the August Underground trilogy. He's in this, and there's like some behind the scenes stuff, going on like during those movies that's shown in here. There was another one. My memory was lying to me. I thought it was Lucifer Valentine, who's known for the Vomit Gore trilogy and a few other ones. But it's actually a director called Beelzebub, play on Beelzebub. I've heard of him. I don't think I've seen any of his flicks. I mean, that's the kind of guy with a name. If you heard it once, you're going to remember that name. But both of those, Fred and Beelzebub, are in this. So it's really cool just to kind of get a behind the curtains look of August Underground. This movie was made in '06. So it's old, it's almost 20 years old at this point. But I really enjoyed the fact that there is a movie within the movie, or a movie within the documentary that is fake, but then the documentary parts are real. Very unique in that aspect of it. Again, if you're into underground or extreme cinema, the documentary portions of this you're definitely going to find very, very interesting. I like the whole thing, but it's worth it alone just to check that out. This, they may have another version, another physical variant of it. I have not seen it. This is just standard. It's just plain Jane. There's not even a reversible cover on this or anything like that. It's got, some very basic special features on it. Still, though, in context to extreme and underground cinema, this, I think, is a very important early film that does not get talked about, and it really should, particularly with anybody who's fans of Fred Vogel. Because I think, at least for me, that's how I found out about him. That's how I heard about him, was from this. And this is an obscure movie too, so it's kind of weird how I could miss the obscure movies that Fred made at the time they were coming out, but then learn about them from this movie that also came out at the same time. In the grand scheme of, again, almost, 2 decades at this point, this is by far very not known by people even that are, into underground and extreme cinema, but everybody knows about the August Underground trilogy. So that's why I like having this. Again, this isn't uber rare. You can get this right now on Amazon. I think, I just pulled it up. It's less than $13, brand spanking new for the Blu-ray. Even the normal, and that's on a little bit of sale, normal price $17. So you can get this for your physical collection. This is also streaming on Tubi. So there you go. Another shout out for Tubi. It's also on Plex. And I use, of course, with buying all of these, I do have a digital library. I like having a digital library when they come with the slips for it. This did not, obviously. But I was using Vudu, which has now been bought out by Fandango, and it's called Fandango at Home. They have a bunch of free movies on there. This is free on there, too. So if you like underground or extreme cinema and have never checked this out, 100%, Tubi or Fandango at Home or Plex, check this out. If you're a fan of owning particularly extreme cinema physically, you got to get this. And you definitely should get it right now, because I would imagine that there's probably just stock left over. I can't imagine they're still pressing these. You know what I'm saying? I would imagine whatever's out there is kind of out there. And once it's sold through, I don't know when or if this will be reprinted again. So this is one out of the stuff that I showed you is probably in the most danger of maybe, a few years from now actually being kind of expensive to get a hold of a physical copy of it, because it's out there right now. But again, it's probably something where a few thousand were made up and they haven't sold through them. And so, what's out there is what's out there, and that's going to be it. But I'm a big fan of it. I enjoy it. I very unique. And then again, as I've pushed more and more into my love for underground and extreme cinema and things of that nature, I just always keep coming back to this movie. And I definitely, again, I think out of all the ones I've mentioned today, this is the one that is most likely just to be possibly, even if it doesn't become expensive, I think it's going to be tougher to find it a few years from now. And that could lead to cost going up. But again, like right now, you can get it on Amazon, brand new, physical, for $13. Even when it's not on sale, it's only $17. So definitely check out Sandman. And if you don't collect, again, Tubi, Fandango at Home, or Plex, you can check it out right now, and you should. So there y'all have it. That's the first of hopefully many videos kind of going over my horror movie collection. Again, I really hope y'all dug it. Let me know, thumbs up, sub the channel. Jay is getting closer and closer to 100 subs every day, so help him out with that. And then definitely leave a comment below. Are there any of these movies that you agree with my opinion on? Disagree? Do you own some of these yourself? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And for sure, if you want to see another part of this series, definitely make sure to put that in the comments below. And I'm sure we'll see each other again real soon on another episode of Fright Flick Fuck, Marry, Kill. And hopefully I'll see you next time as we continue exploring my physical horror movie collection. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for the time. Stay fucked.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All that left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's got Mars.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick.
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Ask me. This ass.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive, it's alive.
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.